How you going? Peter Birch here from Talking Health Tech. We're doing another lunchtime live with Aidan Cousins and a special guest today. If you're watching on YouTube or LinkedIn or Facebook, drop us a message and let us know you're watching. And if you're watching the recording, drop a message too. Make sure you follow us on LinkedIn and all the other social platforms so you get reminded for these things as they come up. We're looking to do these every week now, and we're getting into a bit of a rhythm and a routine, so much so that we've got special guests. So let's bring on Aidan, and we're also going to bring on Michelle as well. Hey, Michelle, how you doing?
Good afternoon. I'm well, thanks. How are you?
Really good, really good. So Aidan is our community manager at Talking Health Tech, keeping things going in the forum and also just generally in the community. I was going to say in real life, but there's nothing. We're all virtual at the moment. But
I still haven't met you, Pete. Isn't that insane? We're closing in a whole year, and I still haven't met you face to face.
Yeah, you're just a computer screen to me, Aidan. But you're a smart guy. It wouldn't surprise me if you somehow program something that doesn't actually exist and you're not human. But that's okay. We'll deal with that.
I might not exist at all. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow, that's deep for a lunchtime live. And then Michelle, thank you so much for joining. Michelle is a member of the Talking Health Tech community, and we've started this thing where we invite someone on to join us in these lives and enjoy the random live pain that exists when you go live. So thank you for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
So the microphone.
Yeah, good. Yeah, microphone envy. Yeah, it's
you've got to have some high-tech gear when you work from home all the time now.
Right, totally. Did you want to give us a bit of a for people who don't know, Michelle, elevator pitch or high-level summary on what you are and what you do?
Absolutely. So I'm a product manager at Annalise AI, which is a really exciting startup in Australia. And it's a company that I've been a part of for more than a year now. So it's definitely grown heaps during that time. I think I was employee number 30 or so, and now it's well over 100. So more and more people joining the fun. And I've been in health tech for a couple of years now. I used to work at ResMed, which was a lot of fun, and I've always been in product management or marketing, so always looking at the strategy and trying to hedge back the product to minimum viable product so we can get things out the door. And in my spare time, I'm a circus acrobat, so I'm busy.
Is there much circus acrobating going on at the moment, or do you have to do it via Zoom?
It's all very restricted. Unfortunately, all my shows got cancelled this year, so pretty much when we got into the long lockdown in Sydney, it was a case of, okay, those things are cancelled and just train and wait for things to reopen and look towards whatever the new normal is. So,
yeah.
Do you have a particular activity?
Oh wait, did Aidan froze? Yeah, that's fine. I think I'm still here. You're still
ghost
here.
in the code there. I think he was asking. I have a particular circus focus, and it's aerial acrobatics, so it keeps me
cool,
very fun, enjoy the heights, that kind of thing.
Yeah, nice one. Well, Aidan's freeze face isn't that awkward, so we can leave him there until he comes back. I love it when you get a freeze face that's like the half eyes open thing. So we'll let him sort that connection out. But so Michelle, normally in the community, in these LinkedIn live streams, I didn't even use my funky graphics. Sorry, otherwise people don't know what we're doing if we don't use one of these. There you go. So
there you go.
That's a lunchtime live stream across LinkedIn, YouTube, and Facebook, where we're kind of doing these a little bit on stealth, so we're not hardcore actively promoting them while we get used to the whole kind of routine and rhythm, but we'll be bringing on guests and featuring people from within the community. And generally, we've been doing them for a little bit on and off. And you know the drill. We normally look at what's been going on in the industry and in the Talking Health Tech community. So I might share my screen and we can bring up like what the latest happenings are. There we go. So we've got on the newsletter this week, so we've got the Talking Health Tech newsletter that goes out. It's a sneak peek of the Spring Summit. So have you got your ticket to the Spring Summit yet, Michelle?
I sure do. I'm really excited. There's a couple of really good sessions, I think.
Yeah. We've tried to get a good mix of sessions for the summit. For anyone wanting to get more information about the summit, have I got a funky banner here? Yes, I do. Look at that. Here's one I prepared earlier, talkinghealthcare.com/summit. Actually, if you've made it this far into the live stream, 6 minutes in, and you've not got a ticket, you should totally become a THT Plus member, because when you become a THT Plus member, you get access to the community, you get the premium podcast, and you get free tickets to the summit. However, if you are just wanting to come along to the summit and get a bit of a discount, use that URL, Spring Summit Special, and that'll take you to this one here where you can get a discounted ticket. I noticed a couple of people last week did that during this live. So if you are watching live during your lunch break, thanks for joining, by the way. Make sure you drop a comment in your social media channel of choice. But get your ticket to the summit and join us tomorrow. So look, is there any that you've kind of put in the calendar for tomorrow, or that you'll be front and center for, Michelle?
I'm really keen for the session on mental health, actually, and dental. Like, I've been in health tech a little while and never really gone into the dental space. So keen to see what those folks are talking about. Yeah, actually, that was a good one, because I mean, they're all good, but the dental, when we were talking about it in the prep session, there's another guest who we've just confirmed yesterday as well, because we were just going back and forth with speakers there, but another dentist who's involved. There's very much a consumer focus, I think, is going to be the talk of the town in terms of how technology for dental is helping consumers and for patients. And so probably a little bit on the clinician side as well, but there's more that we want to cover on the tech for dentists themselves later on, probably on other episodes of the podcast. But I think the big focus for this one will be, just as us as patients, how we're engaging with technology for dental reasons. And if I think about it for myself, there's not too much I've done personally, but I'm sure, when you think of booking appointments or utilizing like Smilo AI, for example, which is Padma's thing, and she'll provide a better overview. There's actually an episode of the podcast from a while ago people can listen to for a bit of an overview, but utilizing AI, or at least a triaging tool, take a picture of your mouth, and then it provides, some decision support, or at least helpful about what needs to be done. So I guess we'll have to attend tomorrow and learn more. Padma, if she's watching, I've totally butchered her elevator pitch. That's why she does a better elevator pitch on her own product than I do. But come along to that. But yes, the mental health session too. I really like the diversity that we've got on the board in terms of where people are from and their focuses. So we've got Dion from Sydney LHD, so from a public health perspective. We've got Bridie Ann from Black Dog, and also from a research side of things, which is pretty cool. And then these two, Anton and Corey, they come from, Anton's coming from the view of being a pretty early stage vendor creating solutions for solving for loneliness, and Corey is all about phobias. So and using VR for phobias. And both of those people have an episode of the podcast you can check out. But so it's not just about, when we think about mental health and lockdown, everyone kind of goes to the obvious kind of very important issues around depression and anxiety and everything. But there are other, points around loneliness and phobias and other bits and pieces too, just general important topics of mental health, which I'm sure we'll cover in this session. It's definitely a growing space. There's so many apps now for things like addiction and just providing people with general support. So we're really informative one, I think.
I think so too. I can see Aidan. I heard a bunch of messages coming through, but I can't check that and do this at the same time. But I can see Aidan slowly coming back, I think. So there we go. We'll bring him on. Hang on. There you go.
Nothing like a tech hurdle, right? The live stream.
Right.
How unusual.
Hey, Aidan, how you doing? He's back. Well, he bet you he can't even hear us. That's good. Cool. So lots to do at the summit. You can get your ticket. Go to talkinghealthcare.com/spring summit. I'll just remove Aidan. Sort of spring summit special, and get a discounted early bird ticket. It's the pre-release pricing, which went ages ago, but just become a THC Plus member. You can go to all of them for free. Also happening in the community. We've got this masterclass on IP and patents. And I'm not sure if you saw that one, Michelle, but we've got actually a full series focused on protecting IP and brand and trademarks and the importance of all that. So not just one session, but Rosie, who is an IP attorney, works with Neutromics, has very kindly offered to share what she knows about that topic. So that's going to be pretty good for early stage people. And I guess with Annalise and everything, you're kind of more on the, now, like you said, it's grown significantly, and I know you're more on the product side, but there's always new inventions and new creations coming out that patents and IP, it's something to be across always, right?
Absolutely. But we're very lucky internally. We have an excellent IP lawyer who's on the ball with that sort of stuff. Plus my brother's actually an IP lawyer, so I kind of get the whole perspective. And recently there was a lot of conversation about some activity in Australia and how it was allowing people to, allocate a patent to an AI author. So it's interesting to see how that's going to change and evolve over time too.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting. Yeah, very cool. Very cool. I love it. Everything comes back to AI, right? It's like AI is like that. Well, what do we do about it with AI? Like, it's like, oh, thanks. Yeah, it's pervasive is the term. Just a reminder, if you're watching this live, drop a message on YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook. Always happy to talk about stuff that's happening elsewhere within the industry if you've got your own news to share. But we're just going through looking at the weekly newsletter from Talking Health Tech, where we cover what's been happening within our own community as well as in the industry, and we'll look at some of the conversations that are happening in the community forum. Aidan, our community manager, will probably be joining if his internet hasn't restored itself. He's trying to access on 3G and can't do it. So there you go. He's obviously dropped his Wi-Fi. It's great that you joined though, as a guest. So thank you. At least I've got someone to talk to now. So thank you, Michelle. Hey, we've got a new member of the team as well within Talking Health Tech. Kaya joined us earlier in the week as our marketing and content manager. So we announced that in our newsletter and on social media earlier this week. So that's pretty good. We pump out a lot of content, Talking Health Tech. So being able to do that in a more systematic and controlled way and have some oversight, and not just, me putting it out and then just letting it kind of go on the website or somewhere, like making sure it's all front and center and useful. I think that's important too. There's so much to talk about. It's like how to put it in perspective. So this marketing and content gig that Kaya is going to be working on is going to be really important for us. And a lot of news. So like on the Talking Health Tech website, if you've not seen, there's companies can post news, events, and jobs. If they've set up a directory listing, you don't have to be a paying THT Plus member to set up a directory listing. You could set up a free listing. So you just go to join, and then you go down here. You could probably become a startup or a scale-up member, but if you wanted to just check it out and create a free listing for your company, you can do that. And fun fact, you can actually, if your company might already be on the directory listing. So that's a fun game for everyone to play. If you, went to, I don't know whether they've claimed their listing. I think Power Health is on there. Why do I choose random companies to test in my lives without even thinking about it? So if you went, there are a number of organizations on the directory that will have a basic listing on there, but you can then claim that listing if you're the company and it gets verified by us. So when you've got that, you can post content. InterSystems are posted on the job board, looking for a clinical safety manager and a product specialist. And InterSystems have got a lot of content on our website, so do check that out. InterSystems are sponsoring our one of our gold sponsors for the Summer Summit in February next year, which is pretty cool. So we'll be hearing plenty from InterSystems in the coming months. Cubico, good friends at Cubico. Chris Smead, the CEO, will be speaking at the summit tomorrow in a session with Jeannie and Hot Doc about collaboration and partnership among vendors. They're holding their own session on the 1st of October, their first event, Cubicon. I thought about trying to do a con, like a Talking Health Tech con or a health tech con. I just couldn't land what the con was. So yeah, it's every company needs a con, right, to have their own little event. Yeah, I'll have to innovator. No, it doesn't matter. Neutromics have got. We talked about the Share What You Know session, but they're also looking for a finance and ops lead to join their growing team. And PenCS, free member of the website, looking for a public relations and communications coordinator. So there are other jobs, events, and everything on our website. Just go to this industry section here, and you can get across it. On the podcast, episodes we release to the public are, all a bit focused on the summit, because we had Steve from CLO who went live on socials a couple of weeks ago with us, and Jeff Smoot with David Ryan, who also went live. Both of these have been converted into a podcast, so you can listen to them while you're, I was going to say commuting, but no one's really commuting these days.
Maybe walking around that 5K radius of your house.
Actually, that's a point I should be thinking about. What's the average time it takes someone to go for their daily? I guess you're allowed to walk for 1 hour around New South Wales, right, in Sydney. So
I think it's outside of those, areas of not so much fun. You're allowed to go outside for a little longer than an hour. So,
all right. My perspective is taken from the Canterbury Bankstown LGA, where
the sad place to be. Yes.
That's a tough place to be right now. So I'm certainly grateful that I can do everything like live stream across all the different social platforms whilst keeping safe as well. So that's good. And there's a bonus episode of the podcast for the premium subscribers. As a THT Plus member, you get access to this, but also you can subscribe to the premium podcast. We were just showcasing an episode of a podcast actually that we helped produce for MScan, which is the Melanoma and Skin Cancer Advocacy Network. And so it's their own podcast, but we help put it together, and that was helpful. Thank you, John, for providing context. It takes about an hour, 5Ks. Yeah, I was trying to remember from back when I used to run, and like it was, running. Yeah, that's that. The maths checks out there. Thank you, John. Looking forward to hearing from John tomorrow at the Spring Summit 2 in a session on Shadow IT, based on the briefing session we had. Yeah, it should be good. Should be good. I'm hoping for a lot of Q&A in that one, which will be good. In the community forum, so if you're not familiar with the community forum, THT Plus members get access to the whole thing. We've got about 170 something members in there now, and a good mix of conversation happening across it all. We've also got a free section you can access to if you jumped into the join section I went to before and joined as an individual. You get an invite to jump into here, and you can participate in all the group chat that goes on. We've split the conversations into different parts of the world. And I noticed I was keen to chat with Aidan actually about, we've created one for Africa this week, which is pretty interesting. I've not kept across the, I guess, innovation space in Africa, and that's really interesting. So there's some good articles to read there. Aidan this would have been a good opportunity to throw to Aidan to discuss some of these. But Michelle, you've kind of been across some of these. Has anything caught your eye in the updates in the community this week that we should draw out?
So not a regionally specific one, but definitely the CRISPR technology. So there was a great article that Aidan shared about an organization who is looking to bring back woolly mammoths. And that transitioned into a bit of conversation about why not look at some animals perhaps that have been extinct in more recent times, which I think is a very valid question. The Tassie tiger's close to my heart anyway. But I've got to say the Jurassic Park appeal is there for me. I did grow up on Jurassic Park, so very amazing technology and incredible what people can achieve and do. So
totally right. That's a good point, right? It's the just because you can doesn't mean you should type thing. Wasn't that a part of
yes.
So valid. This is totally not my area of expertise, but if we brought back the animals that have recently become extinct, does it then like there'd have to be, it's kind of like getting liposuction, right? It's kind of like it's fine to do, and then but you've got to have like structural change to make sure it doesn't happen again. That's an awful
I
way to
think you
compare
would
it.
be
But
addressing a couple of things. You would need to have the genetic diversity for those different species to exist long term. So it's kind of, I don't know if it's cruel, but maybe I'm emoting about it too much. If you brought back animals and then they just basically died out again, it seems like a little bit of an expensive exercise. But then
yeah.
you're right, it's the ecosystem around it. So have we restored enough forests, or you've gotten rid of predators, or any of those number of factors in order to help the animal survive? That's a big question,
Yeah.
and I don't think so in a lot of cases, unfortunately.
No, interesting. Okay. Well, that's a good one there in the community for those that are THT Plus members. Get in the conversation. Plenty going on in the think tank as well. And I have seen some good engagement in other areas too, where people found early stage founders looking for help and feedback on their own products, and just general, regularly we're sharing industry updates, and then there's some good perspectives and engagement that go on there. So that's great. Look, I think Aidan has given up in terms of access to this session. So
Probably.
I'm surprised I haven't seen him jump on LinkedIn and start commenting. But anyway, that's okay. Anything else jump out? I think we've covered the summit. We've covered the.
Well, I was going to ask, what do you enjoy most about hosting these types of summits?
Ooh. The summits are awesome. What I really like about the summits is that, you take the different perspectives of, the different activities we perform within Talking Health Tech as a THT Plus member. You've got the community forum where on a day-to-day, there's lots of, conversation, and it's, everything is done within the forum. But then you've got the podcast where we just do like these more regular live stream things too, where it's good information that comes out, but there's not a great deal of engagement necessarily. It's normally listening to a conversation on the podcast with someone that's providing some interesting perspective. So when you can and so both of those things work really well, but then when you bring them together in terms of all the community engaging around these really interesting speakers and topics, it's a super engaging experience. And I really like as well that we've demonstrated a number of times within Talking Health Tech with our summits that virtual events are good. And, I've heard perspectives, especially coming into where hopefully we'll be able to attend lots more in-person events. And I too am very much excited and keen to get out and do in-person events. But there's so much that we've done with these virtual events that we wouldn't have been able to do. So, accessing guests who literally jump off the session to then go into a board meeting straight after, and they wouldn't have been able to attend. We've got guests at the summit, a couple from the US and all parts of Australia, and the ability to access them obviously would have been a lot less prior. And just being able to then invite also for attendees too. Many organizations have invited their employees to come along. They might leave it running while they're doing other things, and that's okay. And of course, you get the recordings afterwards too. So it's just such a neat way. It ties in really nicely with everything that we do. And the engagement's just really good on the day. So I really get pumped leading into it. I remember at the end of the autumn summit and the winter summit, the past two ones, when I get to the end of it, I kind of just feel like I need to sit quietly in a dark room for a little bit, but that's
recharge your introvert. So I noticed there's a couple of networking sessions in there. Have you got any tips for how to network effectively?
That's a good one too. Look, I think that using the networking tool that's in there, where there's a couple of networking tools actually. There's the networking section of the summit where you can connect for 3 minutes with somebody and it just randomly connects you. So it's a good opportunity to, ask the basic questions, maybe prepare a few questions for somebody else and get your elevator pitch all sorted as well. But at the same time, just get in terms of tips would just be, don't overthink it either. Like if you don't have a freaking elevator pitch or whatever, or questions prepared, it's okay to just connect and say, hi, I'm so-and-so. What do you do? And that's the one thing I've noticed about just generally using online platforms to engage and connect people. They can seem, when you come into them, they can seem really, like, it feels like it's been going on for so long, so you can't participate in this, or I don't know any of these people, so who am I to, you know, give my perspective? But everyone's kind of thinking the same thing. And like, yes, it sometimes feels like in the community, some people know each other and have well before they joined THT Plus. At the same time, a lot of people have just joined and just put themselves out there and said hi. And it's such a welcoming group of people, and we create that kind of culture that I guess to your question, I would just recommend people to you know, put themselves out there and feel okay and safe that if you don't know the answer or don't have too much to share, it's okay to still just participate, because we're all in the same boat. Yeah. We also have some other tools at the summit too, where you can, you know, schedule meetings and other bits and pieces too within Hopin, which is the platform we're using. So I encourage everyone to make use of that. It's a full day event from 9 till 5, basically. We've got some breaks in between so people can get outside occasionally, but that's going to be a good one. I did see actually at the winter one, Daniel Chernishev. Is that how you pronounce? I think that's how you pronounce his name. Dr. Daniel Chernishev was joined from home and had it up on his big screen wearing his Talking Health Tech socks, and then he took it out to the cafe. Back then, you know, he obviously lives in an area where you can go to a cafe, and had it on his iPad there. So, you know, couldn't have done that with an in-person event either. So really looking forward to doing it all tomorrow. So look, guys, thank you so much for joining. I think we're going to wrap it up. It's been great to connect. Thank you, John. I saw that he jumped in and had, you know, it's great to be able to have a philosophical discussion about deliberately interfering with evolution, even if we drove the extinction through our own behavior. I'm sure we can keep that conversation going in the Talking Health Tech community. So it's not just health tech we talk about. We also talk about dinosaurs and other interesting stuff. So yeah, Michelle, look, thank you so much for jumping on. And look, we'll have to get you on more often so that when Aidan has his other internet issues, we can keep the conversation going like this.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It's been fun.
Awesome. All right, thanks, guys. Catch you later.
Bye.